Hey guys, it is me, Tracilyn. Tracilyn. So check this out. I was talking about the different careers and stuff, the jobs that I had working for other people. And I was telling you that usually when I was making the money, the big money, I wasn't happy. I was doing it for the money. However, it didn't go without having some of the most amazing times in my life. I don't have time to really break it down with how much I admired and respected a lot of the people I worked with. And I would love to share that. I would love to share that for anything, to let them know how much they meant to me. Just like with the masonry company, can I be straightforward without hurting anybody's feeling? It was the first time I ever worked for a black man that owned the company. And can I tell you something? I learned a lot. His sons kind of supervised over that company. And they used to kind of tease us a little bit, but it was a friendly thing, like a brotherhood. And it was neat how they kind of protected over us when we would go into dominantly black neighborhoods, We were there to work. And my boss used to have some pretty amazing conversations with me at times. At working at that company. And he knew, let me put it this way, he knew that I wanted to be able to provide for myself and take care of myself. He started out with just about nothing, as a lot of people have in this world, and he had his ups and he had his downs, but he was well-to-do at that time, and he did it through working extremely hard. He was actually doing what me and my friend Johnny were doing. He did that alone. He started out with houses by himself for a long, long time. And then he got, however he grew, he shared me that story many times. I don't want to talk about other people's lives, but can I just say that a lot of times, I'm just giving you some insight, that I would get the opportunity to become friends almost, and learn, be a student of these people that own these companies, or if it was a plant manager or a supervisor. A lot of people, for some reason, I don't even know why, they'd kind of take me under their wing a little bit, and for some reason it was just understood, maybe in my work ethics, about how I was dedicated. I showed up every day. I worked really hard, to the best of my ability. I always wanted to learn. I would stay after, whatever it took, or I would ask, volunteer for overtime. I would ask, could I work, on the weekends? Is there any work available for the weekends I could just do even by myself? There was times I loved to work for this man on the weekends by myself. I loved it. Or Johnny would show up. Me and him would work like a half a day or something, because we did have the opportunity to make more. It was double sometimes. He had to, because it was under the contract and how he had his contract. So it was pretty cool. I mean, I had the opportunity to make a lot of money. That times it wasn't just to make money. I wanted that atmosphere. Maybe I was scared of heights and stuff, but I liked the atmosphere of working alone and do some groundwork on the weekend, since there's not other construction workers around in case something would happen to me. I would be on the ground. I remember doing that. Can we save some groundwork, Johnny, so I come here on the weekends and I can do that? And Johnny was very cool about that. Johnny would get the high stuff. He didn't mind. We'd go up together, or he'd go up alone. And I would always do a lot of the groundwork on the weekends. So that was cool. And my boss would stop by sometimes. And this is when we would have some pretty deep conversations, And he knew I wanted to excel in life. So he knew about my dropping out of high school and stuff like that. He didn't judge me about that, though. He didn't seem to. Not to me. Maybe he was making fun of me behind my back. Shame on you. So, trying to think of some other things that I may have done. May I just say this, that I worked for a temp service for a while. They got me a lot of different jobs, so I had the opportunity to try out a lot of different things. So I'm trying to find happiness here through work. Didn't work. There were times, can I tell you, there were times I walked into a place, only worked the first break and left. I just didn't want to even be there. Did you ever do that? Maybe you're a little bit older. Maybe back in the day it wasn't so bad. Even now, the bottom line is you walked into these places and something in your heart, in your stomach said, I do not want to be here. And maybe somebody else could be like, I worked here my whole life. I love it. You know, this is the greatest place on earth to work. Did you ever meet people like that? I love working here. I could work here to the day I die, you know? And some people do. They're happy. They love doing what they're doing. Tracilyn, also known as VCAT, she wanted to do a lot of different things that were not considered to be normal. You know? Not normal. Maybe normal amongst people like you. Maybe normal like other guys. You know? But for the people I hung around with, it wasn't necessarily normal. And you'll find out about that when I start talking about my musical career. So, move on, time in life. I'm going through a lot of jobs, trying to find myself. I want to make money. I want to make money. But I really don't. Actually, can I be honest with you? I want to be cared for. And I know that sounds kind of silly, doesn't it? I just want to be cared for. I want to be with someone and be happy, or a lot of someones and be happy. Sometimes I joke around about having a rock and roll daddy, you know, and like maybe a mommy who's a model. I know that sounds stupid, doesn't it? I think I would fit, if I would have been born into, with parents that were like that. Daddy's a rock and roller, he's out on the road all the time doing his thing, and mommy's kind of like a retired model, and she's doing her own thing too, but just kind of like there and available for when Tracilyn has some girly problems and needs mommy to talk to, you know. I get to play around with daddy's old guitars and his old PA gears, you know, and get into their costumes. I mean, I've been playing around with that idea, and I just think, man, that would be so awesome to have parents like that. So I joke around with people about being adopted. I mean, that to me would just be so wild. I don't need to play in front of 30,000 people. I just need to have a rock and roll daddy and a model mom with lots of costumes and stuff, you know. Crazy, huh? Shh, don't tell anyone. I'd like to, sometimes I used to think in my life, I wish I had somebody that would kind of fall madly in love with me and care for me. Is that wrong? Do you think so? I'm looking at myself, but do you think that's wrong? Some people would say it is wrong. I can't help that I tossed around this idea in my head. It's not that I want something handed to me or I want something for free. You'll find out in the end, I worked really, really hard. And we'll get to the conclusion of it all by the end of next week, I'm hoping, okay? 7 to 10 days yet, and I'm going to wrap this up. You might not see this for quite a while yet, but... So here's the thing. I'm going to go into my trucking career and then start talking about my relationships. Remember I told you my dad drove truck, my grandfather drove truck, had the ice cream business, my uncles drove truck, a whole lot of people I knew drove truck. Back in the day, seeing movies like with Chris Christopherson and, you know, I don't know if you've seen that scary movie, I forget what it was, Overdrive or something with all those evil trucks and stuff going on. Somewhere along the line in my life journey, trucks became really cool. And I think it would start with my dad and Chris Christopherson, right? If you reflect back on some of the old videos. Here's the thing, check this out. For some reason, I was under the impression that truck drivers, and if there's any truck drivers out there now, they're going to be laughing at me. Sometime along the way, I guess I looked at truck drivers as having a lot of money. They got the big truck, they're on the road, honk, 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 blowing their horn, talking on the CB radio. How good am I, man? I'm a trucker, you know? And I'm thinking to myself, can life be any better than that? You're traveling the country at the expense of other people, and you're making money doing what you want to do, right? Well, can I just say that wasn't necessarily the case? Okay, it wasn't the case. It was during those years that I had a toss-up of a whole lot of happiness, but a whole lot more being miserable. Okay? I don't want to ride this too much right now. Let me just say that I could just spend the whole day talking about the great things and my heart longing to do a whole lot of other things. Let me just say, there was great things, great relationships, but not where my heart is at all. And it ate at me poison. I did make some money. Not a whole lot of money, but I made some money. Pretty much like the job my friend Johnny got me. Pretty close to whatever we were making there. You know, average. And I remember when I got that first trucking job, I went to a trucking school, and I really admired this guy who was teaching me how to drive truck. Amazing guy. Amazing guy. And he also mentioned about my professional appearance. And, you know, I got to say that this happened several times in my life. Almost every time I got a job. Except for a few places like Fusion Coatings was good about, you know, you want to be you, come here and be you and work and be a good worker. You know, be a good worker, be dedicated. They were good about that. That's why I love them so much. I learned the hard way. Places like this to work for are hard to find. I don't even know if they're like that now. I hope they are, or if they go back to some of their old ways, if not all of them, but some of them, you know. Because that's very important that an employee, you know, it's bad enough they probably don't want to necessarily be there a lot of the time. If they're a good worker, the last thing they want to be concerned about is to whether or not they have long hair or their appearance. As long as it's clean, you know, they're clean. Well-mannered kind of stuff. I worked for, when this guy told me this when we were in this trucking school, I knew he was right. I also knew that he was very religious. He was a Christian man. He had trucker personality. He seemed to love people, but he was the bottom line is he didn't want to hurt my feelings, but he was being real. You can make money at this. You can get to travel and stuff like that, but let's be honest. Let's be honest, you're going to have to change your appearance so people accept you better. I'm at the point in my life I don't give a you-know-what if anybody accepts me anymore. I don't care. I don't care. I'm tired of trying to gain people's acceptance. Especially to make money. Okay? So with that being said, I got my first job. I was under contract. One of the last ones to go through that school for 6 months. You had to work for a company and they'd pay for it. If you didn't, then you just pay for it. That's all. It wasn't very much. You know, it was realistic for me to pay for that schooling. I knew then and there I hated it. I hated it because you worked all the time. All the time. All the time. Every day. Every day. Did I say every day? And let me tell you something, just because it might not be a labor job, for some truck drivers it is very much as a labor job. Not all truck driving jobs are labor, just a lot of it sometimes for some people is just drive. Let me tell you something. Just like I'm learning, this is very draining, but I'm okay with this. I'm even, my voice and my appearance is like, let it go. But let me tell you something, driving truck can be very tiresome. I love you truck drivers, all of you. All of you. Even if we wouldn't get along, if we got to sit down and talk to each other for whatever reason, can I just say I love you all? I know what it's like to be a truck driver. And it wasn't in alignment with my heart. I had health insurance. They paint this pretty picture. You got health insurance. You got a half-decent salary. This company didn't pay very well at all. I found that out the hard way, too. But I wanted to stick through the contract. Some people left. They moved on. They're like, I'd rather just pay for the contract than work for this company. And I'm not going to say who it was, you know. But let me just say it was a slave-driving company to work for. That's all you did is work. All of them. There was no time to pull over and go into the back of your sleep or anything like that. They kept you going and going. So I'd have very little time at home. Usually not enough time that even legally, not even enough time that legally that they're supposed to give you. You had to kind of finagle your logbook. They call it creative logging. Okay? You had to learn to be creative. Because they would demand that you pretty much you're back there. You'd have to figure it out on your own. They wouldn't tell you what to do. Okay? Shame. Dispatchers, listen, I'm telling you, shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you. Putting the pressure onto truck drivers like that. There's some truck drivers, they want to work. That's all they want to do. And they're like, shh, Tracilyn, shh. But there's some people that, you know, they need a job, they want to work, they want to be dedicated. And let me tell you, putting the pressure on them is very dangerous and very draining on the physical body. It didn't take me long to learn that. I was amazed. A lot of people couldn't make it out of 6 months. They ended up upping the contract after me to a year. I would have never made a year. I never would have made a year working at this company. Some people worked there for years. But can I say, looking back, even just evaluating myself, my body deteriorated. I couldn't eat properly. I was holding my bladder all the time, as going to the restroom and stuff like that. I know guys that I talked to that drove truck that actually went to the bathroom while they were driving. Okay? While they were driving, they had gallons of jugs or buckets or stuff like that. This is the kind of atmosphere that was going on. And this is other trucking companies. I'm feeling the buzz through this, doing a lot of talking. Obviously, throughout the years, the people got stricter and stricter and stricter with the laws. And the company is, the only thing I can say, I guess the company is trying to keep their head above water and trying to make money. Don't want to ride too much about this. I'd love to spend a whole day talking about driving truck. But it's very important for me to get this out because I have a heart for truck drivers. Because I was one. And I have a lot of fun memories, but there's not a job that I ever had that's been so draining and destroyed my body as much as me being a dedicated truck driver. Okay? So eventually I ended up leaving this place almost immediately because I got met a friend that I was a friend with from hanging out on the circuit in cars. See, this is where real friends come in. You know who you are. You helped me in so many ways. I love you. He opened up a door by recommending me to this other trucking company out of York. And can I say, I love you. Not only are you a good-looking owner, or owner's son at the time, and an amazing manager, the coolest guy, one of the coolest guys, one of the coolest since the Fusion Coatings experience, one of the coolest guys I ever worked for. Totally different there. Totally different experience. In the beginning, I loved it so much working for this place because the color of the trucks were dark blue and they looked cool. And let me tell you something. Nobody wants to hear about it now, and a lot has changed. Unlike the other company I worked for that had no power, you go up a hill and it's like it's taking you forever. Their trucks just would have went a little bit faster, going uphill. You would be surprised how much time you would have saved in your own personal life that you could go home and get some rest. It's very tiresome driving a truck. Let me tell you something. You have a whole new compassionate heart for the people when you see them driving their trucks. You know that they're tired and that they work very hard because to keep the wheels rolling kind of thing. And they have their things in life they want to do, and they need finances for that. And bless their hearts. Be nice to truck drivers, would you, please? Not just because of me, just be nice to them. Without them, the world does not go around in America anyway. The world doesn't go around in this country without truck drivers. If they would if all the truck drivers right now would shut down just because they decided to do it, this country would stop spinning. And you know what I mean by that. There wouldn't be food, there wouldn't be anything on the stocks in these department stores. I know that. A lot of people don't know that. They have what's called on-time delivering. These trucking companies, okay, they run a very tight schedule because in order to save some of the finances, they shut down some of the warehouses, which means people lose jobs. Everything's computerized. It's right on time. As soon as that load's ready, the trailer's loaded, the truck driver's already there, the computers are figuring all this out, the truck goes from one facility to the next, gets unloaded, immediately put out on to the floors. Let me tell you something. On-time delivery, that's a big thing, and that's great. Listen, it's great. But the people who are driving those trucks, a lot of them, they don't have much of a personal life. And they're making a lot of sacrifices for you and me and everybody in this country. Please never forget that. Be nice to truck drivers. Give them a wave. Girls flirt with them a little bit, but not too much. Don't want to cause any accidents. Truckers like girls. A lot of truckers like girls. Maybe they like girls like me too. You know, maybe they like guys. I guess all kinds of people like people. Just whoever. They like friendly people. How's that? There's so many things I could share with there. But my body was deteriorating there. I was becoming heavy. Wasn't dieting right at all. I was too tired. When you're that tired and worn out, the last thing you care about is making yourself a nice meal. You eat things on the go, you know. You hold your bladder longer than you ever would have thought of. It's amazing. And it gets longer and longer and longer and longer every single time. And listen to me, there's guys out there. They love their driving truck. You know, they love it. So please understand, I'm not trying to insult anybody or anything like that. Again, my heart. It was good for a season. There was wonderful things to learn in that. I was having money. Not a whole lot of money, but I was having money. And let me tell you something. I wasn't doing the things in life. All I did was think this whole time. Think. Let me tell you something. Them truck drivers, their wheels are turning all the time. They're looking out their windows as they're driving down the road, and they're thinking. You know, most of them. You may have their music on, trying to block things out, keep things rolling. Maybe talking on the CB, joking about things, you know. Talking about girls like me, making fun of me. Be nice, truck drivers. Be nice. Here comes one of them there she-males up your road. I think it's a lady boy. Is it a lady boy? Let's check this out. Has long hair. Looks like it has boobies, but I don't know what's between the legs. Okay, be nice. Be nice, truck drivers, because I love you. I love you guys a lot. And I have compassion and sympathy for what it is. And I know that there's some I met truck drivers. They've been doing it their whole life. They love it. They absolutely love it. But for me, it wasn't for me. Okay? I have a lot of happy memories with the second company. The trucks were fast. They looked really good. We could take the truck home with us. That was great. And they didn't have a computer in it at the time to be able to connect with me all the time. It was through the cell phone. And let's just face it, sometimes that cell phone was turned off or, oh, I didn't know my battery was dead. You know, whatever the deal was. In fact, at that time, I didn't even have a cell phone. I just didn't want one. I'm in the truck, I'm working. I'll stop at a phone booth. You know, I'll call when I'm at the shipping or receiving department. Another cool thing that I liked about this truck is the inside was wonderful, and I had a bed in the back. So let me just tell you, it was kind of like camping all the time. I'd get to these places, sometimes I'd pay somebody to unload it, sometimes other people unload it, just because that's what they do there. I had my dog with me. My dog. Oh, this was so cool. And everybody loved my dog. I had a really nice truck. I had my dog with me. I had the whole place set up perfect for me. My cooler of when I tried to eat healthy and my drink. You know, the biggest thing was I wanted to keep those wheels rolling. I did. With this company at that time, they weren't trying to make me get back home quickly. They would arrange my next day schedules and stuff. I wanted to get home because if you could get back, the sooner you get back, you get home time. Okay? Home time. That's what a trucker calls it. Get some home time. Some truckers will live out on the road. They don't care. They want to do it. Tracilyn, in my heart, I want to get as much home time as possible. I finally have a job. I'm making money. I like doing what I'm doing. I'm traveling. I'm getting to see the East Coast and stuff like that. Let me tell you something. I want home time, though, because I want to play guitar and I want to do other things, work on my cars and stuff like that. You know, connect with other people, whatever it is. Because I went through New Jersey all the time, 287, 78. And let me tell you something. Driving truck, you already start to see the environments around you are much different than what you grew up. The first time that I worked for this company, I actually left. I left outside of Pennsylvania, outside of New Jersey, and I went up to like Boston or something like that. And can I just say, scared, anxieties. I had anxieties. I'm totally leaving Pennsylvania. I never left Little Lebanon, Pennsylvania. To me, in comparison with where I'm going, I never left Pennsylvania. This is a big deal. Oh, do I have so much to talk to you about this. Truck driving was an amazing experience for me. And may I just say that driving truck, I was so scared the first time I did that. It was actually with the other company. They had me go up to New Hampshire the first time. It was only one trip up there or that. But then this other company as well, the second company I worked for, we ended up going to Boston pretty regularly, And let me tell you, we drove for some big name cereal companies and just some big name companies, which I will not mention anything about that. But, the thing is, I was scared. I was scared to leave state. However, I started getting more comfortable with it. I always wanted to travel the United States. I wanted to travel the world. That was in my dreams, I dreamed about that all my life. Tracilyn was to travel the world, So I'm doing it in a truck, and in the beginning I'm scared. Can I just say that, I want to say this to all New Jersey right now. Okay, me, Tracilyn, transsexual lady. You have the prettiest ladies in all of this country. I don't know how or why. But when I was a truck driver and I used to drive through on 78 and I would take up 287 and wherever I went over there after that, I forget a lot of it, but I crossed the bridge, usually George Washington Bridge. I used to see the beautiful. I used to think of being in New York. But I will say this, there's times, depending on the time of day you went through there, I learned this, time of day, there's so much traffic, you had to stop, slow down the truck. But I enjoyed working for this company, understand? I loved working for this company. And let me tell you, I would look around outside my door because we were up higher, and I just remember seeing all the beautiful ladies. And I was like, how can there be so many beautiful girls in one area? Trust me on this one. And the truck drivers, most of them would agree. They talk about the crazy driving in New Jersey, But I'm big into Italian men. That's when I also started noticing there's a lot of Italian men over here for some reason. They might not like me saying that, but I notice things like this. So I'm noticing all these beautiful women, but I'm not looking down to flirt with them and stuff. I'm thinking, I'm driving truck. I'm not eating the healthiest. I don't like the way I'm looking. I don't like my lifestyle. I want to travel myself. I want to drive a car like that, and I want to wear an outfit like she has on over there. Give me those heels, lady. That's what I wanted to say. Give me those heels, honey. Will you style my hair like yours? So the thing is all I have to say, seriously, all kidding aside, I could not believe that when I first started going to New Jersey in my early 20s. And I seen all these beautiful women, like I see in magazines and stuff. I don't know why. Maybe it was just me seeing this. Maybe other people would disagree, but that's the way I felt. As I'm not saying there's not beautiful ladies all over the world, but in my heart, it seemed like every car was filled with beautiful ladies. And that's when I started noticing Italian men everywhere you look. So little things like that I would notice in my truck driving career. And I can keep on talking to you about it. Let me tell you something. I have trucker stories, but it ain't going to be like your normal trucking stories, okay? They're going to be a lot different. Someday I'm hoping that I can do this for you. I can share this with you. But every time I drive across the bridges, the Tappan Zee Bridge even, when I go across, I looked forward to that in this truck with my dog. But whatever the deal was, when I started going across the bridge, I started noticing more things. I looked forward. I didn't really care for the 78 drive over so much, but I was always thankful when I got onto 287 and it started coming around. And just to look around and see it and know that I was there, the Garden State, So many stories to talk about just there. I did hit deer with the truck, unfortunately, and had some run-ins with the law that were very respectful and kind to me. And I always look forward to going across those bridges. Every single time. And I remember different stories that I could share with you about almost getting my truck stuck under a bridge, I have to think back in time if I actually did do that. I don't think so, but I almost did. And just knowing that a lot of the things that I saw or portrayed on television, with New York being right by, It's a big deal. And when I would get up on the other side of these bridges and get kind of out of New York a little bit, circling into Connecticut, at that time, I'd be kind of like depressed. Like, I want to go back there to New Jersey. I want to go back there to New York and just, I wish I could, I almost swore, I'm sorry. I wish I could kind of live in that area, you know? I just love the energy. There's something about it. Remember that, because when I start talking about escorting, you're going to hear a lot about that. But understand, I was doing this now for 2.5, 3 years. Back and forth every day. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I got to go up to Vermont here. I even went up to Maine. You know, all over the place. And I'm noticing the different mentalities when I go into these warehouses. I'm realizing that, wow, I'm getting closer to Italian people and different styles, different accents. All this stuff is starting to, wow, I wasn't raised around all this stuff, and I want to be around it more. I can't wait. And there were certain places I wanted to go to on purpose because I look forward to seeing these guys and talking to them, or the girls and stuff, the jokes. And I mean, these are all my relationships. They're starting to develop. And my dispatcher that I would be talking to on the cell phone, oh, some of the ups and downs with that. We had a cool dispatcher at that time. I don't want to get too heavy about this. Working for that company had a lot of pros, a lot more pros than the other company I worked for. For me, for my heart. I'm not trying to insult anybody, but for my heart. I love those guys. Things did change. Got more into the computers. A lot of the laws started coming down on them, dwindling down. And can I just say that they were known as a company that held out as long as they could. They held out as long as they could. They loved their drivers. Maybe it changed. Maybe they don't feel so loved there anymore. Okay? Because when all these laws started pressuring down on them, it put a lot more stress onto the driver. Because the company as well is stressed out. They have time refrains. They got financial things that now they really got to worry about. I don't want to get too deep within this. I feel for trucking companies, and I feel for the truck drivers especially. Because now the pressure is coming down from the overhead. You know, down. The bosses onto the dispatchers. You know, the head dispatcher, then your dispatcher, regional or whatever it would be. More and more stress on everybody. And it's so sad to know that you were a part of the dying breed. Can I tell you something? Like old trucking used to be considered as, for all the older truck drivers out there, maybe retired. Let me tell you something, I'm the dying breed here. I was part of that. I was part of the transitional over, and I'm sure it's a lot different now. Because later on, I'm going to tell you, I went back and I started working for the same company. And they were, like I said, they always resisted as much as they could, but eventually they have to do what they have to do. And may I just say, when the computers started coming into the trucks and stuff, it did make it a lot easier for a lot of different reasons. But let me just say, a lot more stress. A lot more other things. I had to get out of it. I wasn't happy anyway. And near the end of my trucking career, I was so miserable because I wanted to be doing music. I was finding out I'm listening to music. Another place I used to love going is upstate New York. I used to go up to Syracuse and even up way higher than that. I'm trying to think of some places that I used to go. I went to Buffalo once or twice, but there's some other places upstate New York, literally considered upstate New York. And the drive up there is just so beautiful, up 81, you know. Many times. Is it Rochester? Look it up. Is Rochester upstate New York? I'm almost sure. Syracuse isn't that far out of Pennsylvania. So it's way up past there yet. So many stories to tell. But can I just say this? If you ever heard of Eminem, which I'm sure most people in America and the world have heard of Eminem by now. It was when I was first introduced to Eminem through my child's mother, you know, my other parent. And I honestly don't believe that I would have made it through without him, listening to his music. As crazy as that may sound to you, you know, I'm glam band, I'm rock and roll. I told you that I'm open to all music, you know. So there's a lot. You'll be surprised on some of the music I listen to and what I love. But there was a season in my life where I needed Eminem. Eminem was saying a lot of things I was feeling in my heart about a lot of things, you know. And I had that blaring in my ears. There was a speaker like right above my head. And my dog, I think my dog thought I was crazy. What are you listening to this guy for, you know? He didn't really care. He was having a good time ever. He loved sitting in the passenger seat. He loved that so much. But especially on 81. That's when I first took a cassette that my child's mom gave to me. And understand this, our relationship was very challenging. She loved Eminem. We were going through a really hard time, so she had given me this way before we separated. And I held on to it all that time. And one day I dug it out when I was on 81. I still remember that, and I popped it in to the cassette deck. Listened to it out my speakers, and I was just like, this is perfect timing. I didn't give it a chance up until then, and I'm so grateful that I did. So, you know, I love a lot of rap groups that are out there too. I'm not just a rock and roller. I love all music, and nowadays I don't look at it as bringing it into genres at all. You know, rock and roll, country. You know, I understand there's a reasoning for that. Why divide it up? Where does it best fit in? But music is music to me. And at different times in our lives, it's like something powerful comes along that maybe you didn't give a chance at one time, but at perfect timing is everything. And it can mean the difference between life and death. You know? Eminem was there for me, you know, in the cassette. I started talking about relationships. I probably took up a lot of time talking about my occupations. And I'm sorry for that. Oh, I'm not apologizing. It was fun talking about driving truck. I love to travel, you know. One of my dreams was to use my passions and stuff to travel. I told you the world. I don't know necessarily if I want to travel the world anymore, but I don't really want to be alone. I like to travel. I wish there was other people I could connect with, you know. Kind of do what I love to do and get to travel, but not traveling being on the street. Not traveling being alone in a hotel room by myself all the time. I'm not too good at relationships, you know. And I told you throughout my life that I was very attracted to boys ever since my childhood. And I don't want to keep repeating that stuff, but it's important to just refresh your memory for new people that might have just stepped on here. We're talking about relationships. Tracilyn, also known as VCAT. My website is down here, tracilyn.com. I'm a songwriter, and up here is my subscription button to this YouTube page. If you go onto my website, it's the easiest that way. You will find out that I have other links to Facebook, and I have other links to a musical and kind of funny videos. Me in a diaper, me in a schoolgirl outfit, all kinds of things. I am transgendered, and I'm sharing my life story with you right now. We're talking about relationships after talking about careers. I knew from the time I first saw my uncle that I was drawn to men differently for whatever reason, and I saw Cher and I wanted to be more like Cher in the 70s. You know, this is probably 73, 74, 75, somewhere in that area. This stuff is starting to come together, and figuring this all out because we're living in a society at that time that is demanding that you be on one side, whether you're a woman or a man, and you like the opposite. You have to. That's the way that we're raised. And these beliefs come from our ancestors. And it comes from leaders who like to take their idea and enforce it upon the minds of others. That's just the way it is. There's something in them that want to go out and dominate and get everybody else to try to think like they do. Okay? Know this, I'm not trying to get you to think like me. I'm sharing my life story in hopes of inspiring you to find the inner true self of who you are. That is a challenge for a lot of people. If for anyone, can I just say it was challenging for me? And I'm still working on it every day. Here's the thing, check this out. So as we go through our years, I'm going to kind of close my eyes a little bit and reflect back. Really, the kissing thing it started to begin a little bit before leaving Jonestown, but I'm telling you right now on Lafayette Street, it was a kissing neighborhood. Everybody kissed everybody for every reason in the world. And if you didn't want to be kissed, you better know how to run, or you better stay indoors and lock your bedroom door. And may I just say that I remember the first time, and I was going over this in the Lafayette Street, where I got tackled by a girl who was not my girlfriend. We were friends. She tackled me. She gave me a kiss, and I kept fighting to get her off of me. You know, and can I just say that affected me greatly? Not just because she was pretty, you know, she was pretty and a good kisser, but can I just say that I knew that then that I didn't want to be kissed by a girl. I didn't. And I was attracted to older guys, really older guys. I didn't know why. I liked high school kids, and I was only in elementary school, you know? Isn't that crazy? But I did. I liked my brother's friends and stuff like that. And I'm being honest. So with that being said, even to this day, I like all guys. I like all guys. I admire them all. But I do feel comfortable with a guy who's in his 50s, or maybe he's around my age. Usually, let's be honest, a little bit older. I feel then like I'm the younger one, or whatever. Whatever reason. Okay, I'm spoiled that way. So with that being said, with that being said, that was a kissing neighborhood. I probably got tackled and kissed many times. A lot of the tough girls, you know, that for some reason they took a real good liking to me. And you know who you are if you see this video, and it's okay, because it's not like I was terrified when a girl kissed me. It's just that it just knew right away it wasn't so comfortable for me. And I wanted an older guy to kiss me and rub his beard on me or something, you know? Or if he didn't have a beard, whatever, you know, scruff. I like that. So, as we're going down through, that's in my elementary school years. Can I tell you, I don't remember if I said it, if this girl who tackled me was the first girl. She's definitely the first girl who ever tackled me. But I remember I was in first grade a second time around. And in this school, and I'll talk about it again when I talk about my school life, is the first time I was kissed in front of a lot of people. Before, with this girl, it was in front of my brother. But it really wasn't in front, because he didn't know it. You know, I was being tackled or whatever. It happened kind of close to where him and his girlfriend were kissing. But here's the thing, check this out. Excuse me, I'm sorry. What's that lady like? What's that lady like? I'm being very open about things like this anymore. I used to not burp in front of people at all, or fart. Sometimes I do now. I try not to, you know. To me, it's not very ladylike, but hey, times are changing, aren't they? BDSM, that'll change you after a while. So check this out, and I'll talk about that later. But check this out. So, when I go to school, there is a Spanish girl. Remember I told you, now moving into the city, kind of diverse group of people. I'm starting to be introduced more to, I don't know how else to say it for now. Please help me out, suggest to me the proper way, and a well-mannered way to say this, but I was being introduced more to the black community, Spanish community, things that I was just used to kind of like the white community, and thank goodness. I like diversity, I invite it. Okay, I started talking about in other neighborhoods how I started being, this all happened gracefully now. It's like there was a power source introducing me slowly now to the LGBT community, although it wasn't dominantly said that way or titled that way, but I was meeting gay people, lesbians, if you will. And I don't mean to be making fun. It's funny how we put all these labels all over us, you know? It's really, to me, it's funny that we put labels over us. Why can't we just be people, you know? All these different groups, it's so confusing, you know? Where do we go over here? So the thing is, I'll never forget, I think I was sitting up front here. somehow, some way. Here's what it is. This is what really happened. I had to reflect back a little bit. Remember I told you I'm going to close my eyes and think, actually, I was dared to kiss somebody else. Now, I'm a pro kisser. I come from Lafayette Street. We are the best kissers in town. We're going to kiss you, you know? So I was dared, because I think I might have been talking to my friend who was the one who made the Knight Rider. Shoo, 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 shoo. Light for his bicycle. So here, check this out. I end up being dared, which is very dangerous for me, to go up and kiss the Spanish girl. And I did after the teacher left the room. The teacher left the room for something. It would happen. It ever happened to you in elementary school? A teacher leaves the room. That's when the trouble starts. Here she comes. And somebody's always looking out the window to see. Check. You stand guard the door. Let me tell you, I have school days are hilarious. I have some good days and bad days. I gotta tell you, if somebody was guarding the door, I'm running up front there, and I'm kissing this Spanish girl. And I gotta admit, I don't know if it was because I am kind of a light-skinned person, if that's why the dare was there or what, but even at a young age, I'm not prejudiced about anything, you know? I want diversity in my life. That's one thing I knew right away. I want all walks of life in my life. I like it, you know? So I'll never forget kissing her, and everybody's like, whoa. I kissed a girl and I liked it. That was the first time I liked it. And you know why I liked it? I'm going to tell you why. Because everybody was watching. And everybody was going, ooh. So I was a star of the show. And I kissed a girl. I didn't really like it, but I pretended to like it. Actually, I liked all the attention it drew. So I go back there and I remember that. And because of that, because she was Spanish, I was drawn to her. I really wanted to learn more about her. She was so pretty. And can I say something without you being upset? I gotta admit, if I didn't have to take the time, maybe sometimes I would relax in the sun. But if I didn't have to do that, and I could go do I used to think seasons and times, think something so stupid like this, if I could go do other things with my life rather than lay here for a half hour or an hour, tanning myself, and I just naturally had a nice dark tone. I used to think sometimes, what would that be like? That would be pretty cool. Please don't be upset because I said that. I don't want to hurt your feelings. It's a positive thing, I think. I'm not saying that anybody else, for whatever reason, doesn't lay in the sun, but I'm thinking to myself, stupid things like this throughout my life. Not stupid. Will you forgive me? Please forgive me. I don't mean stupid. I don't know how, I'm kind of stumbling over things and I'm putting my foot in my mouth. I'm sorry. Don't ever smack somebody. Don't ever do that. And I'm just like, oh no. What did I say? Delete this, Tracilyn. What I mean is, how cool would that be if I just naturally had a tan on my skin? If I was dark skinned. I used to sometimes, did you ever think that? You wish that you, instead of being born one skin tone, you were born another? Well, she had me questioning things like that. And I liked her so much. And at that time, there was only a few Spanish girls in the school who were darker skinned. And I'm telling you what, I really liked them. She was a wonderful person. Very friendly. Everybody loved her to death. So the fact that I got to kiss her was pretty cool for me. As we go through, we're thinking of Lafayette, let me just say, you already know that there was a kissing neighborhood. Everybody's kissing. When I got onto Union Alley a little bit, I started being more attracted to that, what I considered rich girl, because in Lafayette Street, it's the first time we lived in a low house development, but up on the hill, it was very well known. The rich people live up there. Very seldom did I even ride my bike up in that neighborhood, but if I did, they were always nice to me. The rich folk were always kind to me. But I always admired them. I wanted a beautiful house like them. I wanted, I wanted a car like they drove. I wanted to dress like they dress. Especially the ladies that I would see. Very pretty ladies. So, when I was living down there on Union Alley, remember now, see, we're getting closer, and I'm not doing it on purpose. The universe is kind of lining this up. Now we got a rich girl that lives right just a couple houses down from us, a half a block down the road. And I remember how beautiful she was, and her hair, and that she was skinny and small, which I was always tall, you know, but she had these cute little white boots that was popular with these tight jeans. Usually back in those days, the girls would taper their jeans down so they were really tight around their ankles the whole way down. No bell bottoms then. And I like bell bottoms, but also, you know, they would taper them down and then put the boots over top. And they have some fringes on them or whatever. And same with their jackets. I was big into wearing jean jackets at that time. But they just wore these jackets and they have fringes on too. And and they wear their perfume and their makeup. And you're thinking, I want to be friends with this person. They're so beautiful. I want to be beautiful like that. So, you know, I was attracted to her, but I wanted to be more like get to know her and dress like her kind of thing. Wanted to get into her world, get into her mind, what makes her tick. Oh, she's doing great with her life. All these girls that I'm talking about. At that time, I'm starting to explore with my own sexuality, playing with toys. I'm starting to realize where I'm getting these toys, but I'm not going to say. There was toys in the house, and probably the people during that time, if they see this video, they're like, oh, Tracilyn, please don't tell anybody where you got those toys. And lingerie, you know. So I'm wearing this stuff. I'm more still knowing I'm very attracted to guys. Union Alley, not a whole lot happened as I went through my elementary school years. Can I just say, we're going to talk about school years later. I was very attracted, especially to cheerleaders as I got into junior high school. And I wanted to be wearing the skirt and doing some of the things that the girls were doing to me, which was they were trying to flirt with me. But flirting with me only opened up my imagination to all the possibilities that I could be doing that to other guys. So I learned from these girls who were trying to get me to be attracted to them, but it didn't work. Actually, to this day, some of my body language is based off of the girls that I met in my junior high school years, because I wanted to tease the guys. Even to this day, I like to tease the guys very much. A lot. And I'll think of of things that I learned in junior high school. Pretty interesting, huh? Now, check this out. I want to say that a lot. I do say it, check this out. That's my thing. Understand, that's my thing. Check this out. Don't you go around saying, check this out. Okay? Don't do it. Might be old school. I don't know where I got it. You know, maybe it was from John Cougar. Something about check out or something. I don't know. I don't know if there's a song called that. I probably messed that up. Delete. So here we go. Junior high school, a lot of girls are flirting with me, but I'm not interested. 6th grade. In 6th grade, let me focus on this. In 6th grade, when I went to Cornwall School. So this is after Union Alley. Then we're going on to Chestnut Street. Now we're going to Cumberland Street. Remember I told you it's the first time that I started to wet myself, okay? This is a normal procedure, if you will. I don't want to say, how can I word this? What's considered more for a boy, okay? I don't know necessarily what girls go through. I always wish I could have experienced a lot of things. A lot of you girls are like, no, you don't understand, Tracilyn. You don't understand. You don't want to go through. But let me tell you something, this was a big time in my life. That was serious changes. This is the first time that I noticed puberty in me, and I didn't like it. 2 hairs one day, the next, I have nothing there one day, you know? I have no hair on my body. Then the next day in my private area, I have 2 hairs, and they're really long. Where did these hairs come from overnight? Listen, I know you guys might not want to hear about that, but truth of the matter is I'm wondering about this. This bugs me. I started going over to Cedar Crest. And since I have nothing bad to say about it, can I just let you guys know, Mr. Helmuth was our teacher. and there was another guy teacher that was there, and they kind of had a dividing wall that they could unfold or fold, and basically they left it open because it was great. Us kids loved that we could have our classroom shared with another classroom. And in this classroom, I remember meeting a girl that looked just like that next door neighbor over on Union Alley. Okay? Almost identical same boots, almost identical same pants, only her hair was bigger and longer, darker. She was Italian, and she knows who she is if she sees us. From the first day I saw her walk through that open door area where they could divide the room, and she went to sharpen her pencil, I was blown away by that. She was only like 4'11", 4'10", and at that time I was still pretty tall. And may I say that I just felt so scared to talk to her because I was considered an outcast. You know, nobody really liked me. I was getting beat up by that time. And we're talking about the school life later, but I was getting beat up a lot at school. Kind of like a freak to other people. And when I saw her, instantly I wanted to be her. I wanted to be her. Beautiful. Beautiful. To me. And to a lot of other people. So, you know, I don't want to talk too much about her, but can I just say that I related that to that girl that I considered more of like a well-to-do family. I mean, I just say that in the end, I found out I was surprised when I met this girl. See, that now it's a surprise to me. I'm relating them to be the same. And when I realized that she wasn't in a, and I don't want to talk a whole lot about this, but she wasn't in a well-to-do family like I perceived the other one. I was shocked. I'm like, how can you be so beautiful? All of your family is so beautiful. Her sister, her brother is an amazing person. Her mom, I remember when I met her mom reminded me of my mom. And when I saw her later on, you find out in years, her mom was beside my mom, and I was blown away by this. You know, we, at least for that season in our time in our life, we were meant to be together. I'm 100% sure. We were like this. We were like that. My best friend. Only it didn't happen there. I think we might have been dating for like 2 or 3 days. I don't remember a whole lot about it right now, but I had a friend there who loved to have ketchup on their pizza. Did you ever see somebody do that? Not too many people in the world that I met like that. At that time, anyway. Even still now. It was weird going out to eat with his parents. Now, these were religious people as well. There's a whole nother story with that. But I really loved him because he was very nice to me. And I got the opportunity to do things with his family that I would have never had the opportunity to do with mine. Or anybody else. Nobody else took it. And we went camping, was a big thing, a big deal. And, you know, they wanted me to get to... They wanted to instill their Christian values onto me. And it was a lot different, too, than a lot of other people that I grew up with at the time. So here, check this out. It was only 2 or 3 days with this lady, you know, this teenager at the time. She was a little bit older than me, maybe a year or so. She was in 6th grade, I was in 6th grade. Eventually, I ended up leaving Cedar, what did I say this? Yeah, I'm going to just say Cedar Crest School District is where it was. And notice I didn't say anything about it, so I told you teacher. The reason I told you teacher is because, let me just say that a lot of people will have flashback memories of that being sharing the same teacher kind of thing, and eventually people will piece things together, and I'm okay with that because I have nothing negative to say about anybody in there. I had a couple situations within that school which you'll find out that weren't that drastic, and they got taken care of because I started hanging around some tough people back in the day, and we were a clan and everybody knew that we were kind of together, so you just don't mess with them. You know, you just don't mess with me now because I got these friends to hang with. So, and I was relieved because I was kind of embarrassed. Were you ever bullied like that throughout your life? And you'll find out, were you ever bullied picked on, considered an outcast, but and then maybe you want to be friends with somebody, or you have an interest in somebody intimately, and you're kind of embarrassed because of the way the school has shamed you. And I mean school by the people have shamed you and humiliated you so drastically that you feel you're not worthy of getting to know this person now. It'd be an embarrassment to you. If you do, please don't. Please don't feel that way. Don't let people beat you so badly and say such horrible things to you that you don't feel that you're worthy to be friends with somebody else who would accept you. Because you'll find out later on, this girl ended up being my girlfriend for years. We had a lot of breakups and we got back together. Did I burp again? I'm sorry, excuse me. Do you want to hear me? Hold on. That was a gay burp, wasn't it? I'm sorry, did I insult anybody? I better delete that. Listen to me. Listen to me. That was a horrible burp, wasn't it? After we left Cedar Crest and went back to Lebanon School District, I was having a lot of hard times there. I got a lot to share with you. This is probably where I started to listen to John Cougar and stuff like that. Because I was debating whether or not it was an elementary school or where it was. Things are becoming clearer for me. I understand everything that I shared with you. Sometimes I go back over it myself and I'm like, oh my goodness, it's coming alive. It's coming alive, and that I wasn't right when I shared that. Some things, usually small things, movies and stuff like that. Or years about when I lived somewhere, when, I'm thinking of time eras and things, or how old I was. When I was living there in Lebanon Village, I told you that we used to get together with my friend and his family, and we would go roller skating. That was a big deal, and a lot of times if we would ride our bikes, which was seldom, but we'd ride our bikes there, we'd always get drunk before we went. That was a big thing. Not all of us, but I did. I got drunk a lot of times. I'd try to get my mother to do my hair like Tom Kiefer from Cinderella was really big at that time, or Richie Sambora. I would always show her pictures. I want to look like Richie Sambora today. I want to look like Tom Kiefer today. I want to look like Vince Neil today. I want to look like Bret Michaels today, CC today, Bobby Dow today. And I would go through because I just wanted to look like all these different people. I wanted to be cool, So anyway, we would get drunk and we'd go to the roller rink. Can I tell you something? By this time, I'm probably in 6th or 7th grade and now in the Lebanon School District because we moved. And I remember being on my roller skates. Let me tell you something. I love roller skating. I was never really good at it, but I love to do it. And I love the atmosphere. They would listen to a lot. They'd have a DJ there in this roller rink. And if you wanted to take the CDs, you can, but they had a lot of the music there. Especially the 80s rock and roll was really big. Even Tiffany, saw him standing there. Could have been, should have been, or whatever that was. Nothing compares to you, Sinead O'Connor. Cher. I can go through that another time. Roller rink was an amazing place to be. It was the place to be. Every Friday and Saturday. Sunday, if you were diehard, I always say that. If you were diehard, you went on a Sunday afternoon. But I remember standing, when you first entered into the front door, you paid your ticket. She was kind of in the cage, the owner's daughter or whoever was working there, the sons. And they kind of watched over you in their own skates. So they supervised to make sure everything was okay, no fights, nothing like that. Because you didn't want to get kicked out of this place. So you did not fight inside. If there was fights, there's fights outside, all on the other end of the parking lot. You do not want to get kicked out of the place because this is a place to go. This is where everyone is from school, pretty much so. The cool people are going there, if you will. Not that cool people didn't do other things, but this is the place to go. So with this being said, when you walk in the door, you pay for your ticket. Sometimes other people pay for you or whatever. And there'd be a lot of picnic tables the whole way up through indoors. And then they'd have a food service place. They'd have pool tables. I was never good at it. My friends were always great at games. Remember, I'm not good at games. They'd have maybe a dartboard. So I love shooting darts. That's one game I love. And sometimes I can do good at and actually win. Darts. Remember that. Is it 301? I'm not sure. Is it 501? Something like that. I love to play darts. Even if I'm not doing good. That's a fun game for me. That wasn't a good one yet. I'm going to get a good one out for you yet. Just wait. So check this out. Excuse me, by the way. It wasn't very ladylike. So here's the thing. Check this out. The dartboard. Love to play darts. Got the pool tables on either side. You can get food, pizza, slice of pizza, French fries, you know, whatever, soda at that time. We always went drunk. I can share a lot of memories there. There were times that I would accidentally throw up on the floor. Is that proper words? Puke. I don't know. What do you say about that? I don't know how to say this, you know? I got sick. You know, and my friends would be embarrassed for me, and they'd get me outside because you don't want to get thrown out of here, you know. And I guess they kind of knew, but it was just a shh, 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 shh. Because they didn't run to call the cops and stuff like that. And I told you how the cops were really nice to us throughout, as long as we were being responsible, not destroying property and stuff like that. We weren't driving cars or nothing. Our parents were picking us up, or an older sister, you know, a family sister or something like that were picking us up. So we didn't drink and drive. We were still young, and I know, listen to me. I'm not recommending that anybody do this. Okay, this is what I was doing. Understand, this was an escape period of my life. Escape. So we're there, and when you walk in, just on the other side, there was 2 entranceways. When you get in, let me tell you something, this was an ultimate roller rink. And there was an inside where people skated around, and then inside, like a dance floor, it was huge. In the very center where they had all the strobes and stuff was really cool. And let me tell you something, that's where you went to hold your friend's hand and you both spin around and you do all kinds of crazy stuff, and I don't want to get too deep within that. And then on the outside of the rails, you had benches that you could sit on to change your sneakers or shoes into your skates. You could rent skates down from there, and that's where the DJ was, you know, the DJ booth. They had the bathrooms way down on the corner on the other side. This was a really cool roller rink. It really was. And I could tell you a lot of stories about things that happened within there. Can I just say, what I'm getting at to give you a visual is I was standing just inside those entranceways looking over the rail. And that's when I saw her. I fell in love. Was it for the right reasons, wrong reasons? How could I fall in love with her? She was so beautiful. And I gotta say that I was so strongly attracted to her. I wanted to be her. Kind of confusing, isn't it? But I wanted so bad. I knew I wanted to be in her life. And what we called boyfriend, girlfriend. I wanted her to be my girlfriend. And I don't remember exactly how it all happened. But can I just say, she had an attitude, a cool attitude. Remember, she's Italian, and I'm not saying, please, give me a chance. Okay, give me a chance. She had this cool attitude about herself. Confidence. Sex appeal. I found out later on it was because, probably, as she's growing up, she's imitating a lot of her favorite musicians and stuff. Because you'll find out, if I would talk a lot about this relationship, she loved the rock and rollers of the 80s. Because of her, I liked the band Poison. Yeah, pretty wild. I love Bon Jovi, you know. But because of her, I fell in love with Poison. And it was the way she held her lips. You know, I can't do it right now. I don't know how she did it. That was kind of weird, wasn't it? I don't know how she did it. How did she do it? How did she do it? How did you do your lips? You know? Rockers had very full lips. I'm not saying I'm a very good imitator right now. I'm kind of tired. I've been talking a lot. She had the lips. And that look in her eye. She was cool. Yeah. She was afraid to smile a little bit because she always said she had tinier teeth. You know, I have kind of big teeth. She always said she had little teeth, and she did, but she never realized, I guess, sometimes how attractive she was, and her little teeth were. And if you're out there, you hear this, I hope you don't feel insulted. You're so beautiful. And I remember meeting her sister, and her sister is, wow. Here's two sisters. You know, did you ever grow up in a neighborhood like that, or maybe you are now? Brothers, sisters, and they're both look like they should be models and be in magazines. This was the family. This was the family and their mother. You know, mother, they looked just like their mother, who looked like my mother. Only the girls had very long hair, especially the girl that I was attracted to. Very, very full, long hair. Perfect body. Everything that I liked in a body, she was. Which was everything that I wanted to look like. Through my images that I collected, listening to the radio, seeing these music, how did I see it and listen to the radio? Trust me, even in her voice, everything. Everything, all the information I collected throughout my life, this is who she was. And we had music as a passion together. And we liked to drink, get drunk, escape together. She smoked. At that time, I thought that was so attractive. You know, seeing her smoke her cigarettes. And can I tell you something? My mother smoked, my mother drank, and my mother loved music. Didn't I tell you? Her mother looked like my mother, and they looked like their mother. You think? Was this my mother I was attracted to? And I wanted her body, though. Figure that out. I wanted this girl's body. So did I want my mother's body? Remember I told you I tried to look like my mother? See how all this is kind of dancing around? So we became very good friends. And let me just say that in that relationship, through our teen years, just about until 20 or 21, we dated a lot. It was my girlfriend through my teen years. We shared so many wonderful things together. We loved sunbathing together. We loved talking on the phone. We talked on the phone all the time. All the time. I would get in trouble because I'd be on the phone. Get off the phone, Tracilyn. Get off the phone. I want to use it. Oh, I want to use it. We would talk until I would fall asleep. Or she would fall asleep. In fact, I was the one who did, because she'd be like, I can still hear it now. Hey. Hey, are you there? Hey. Did you fall asleep on me? And I would lie. I'd say, no, I didn't. This is the person I wanted to share all my time with. All my time with. We got in trouble together over at her house. I used to ride my bike over to her house. She lived at different places. So let me just get this clear. I already knew that she was going through some of the stuff that I went through, and I don't want to say too much about it. But I already knew in the beginning of our relationship, because she would tell me of situations that happened, and I'm not going to tell you what kind of situations happened. But I knew it was by people that loved her, or that she loved, or whatever, admired. Some things had happened to her, and that made me even feel even more connected to her. So she smokes, she drinks, she loves rock and roll, you know, glam bands. She looks really good. She's everything I ever wanted to kind of look like. She looked like if she would have been given a guitar, she would have been a heavy metal star, a rock and roll star, no doubt about it. Let me tell you something. These guys in glam bands could never touch her hair. Amazing hair she had. She would wear like a can of Aquanet. That was really big. Oh my God, for years she would wear this on her hair, and she curled her hair every day. Every day her hair was perfect. Her makeup was perfect. Her whole look. She didn't walk out of that house unless she was perfect. She didn't want me to see her with her hair flat. And I used to like it. I used to think to myself, you look so cute like this, you know? And no, she wanted herself done. So this is also a girl that I would, in later years, and I'm going to be bouncing all over the place with this. But in later years, I used to sit there and watch her do her hair like I did with my mom. I might play my guitar while she's doing that, while she's getting ready, and I would admire her beauty. She was definitely the most beautiful girl that, in my eyes, and even now, there was no other girl for me during this time in my life. No other girl for me, ever. Ever. We were meant to be. So much that I won't say the initials that we had on the back of the window. But can I just say that I had things on my car that basically said we're dynamite together. Might be able to figure that out. You know who you are now. But I was so proud of that relationship. I knew that this was the chemistry. The kind of chemistry that was meant to be long-lasting. I messed it up a lot. My insecurities. I hated getting beat up in front of, I can't say I got beat up in front of her, but I didn't like rumors getting around that pretty much the things that people were saying, if they were calling me a sissy, why would you date a sissy like that? A puss like that? Why would you date, a loser like that? A freak like that? A goon like that? People pressured her because she was so pretty, and she didn't want to hurt my feelings, so she didn't say a whole lot, but, once or twice she would say that, she got kind of upset because somebody kept on harassing her about that. I can't imagine, are you like that? Can I encourage you that if there's somebody that you really like, can you forget about what everybody else is saying about them? If you really, really like this person, please don't walk away from them because of what other people say. Okay? It's none of their business. Tell them you like freaks. Tell them you're a freak too. You don't have to, but think of something creative. I'm sure you can get more creative than myself right now. But can I assure you, as scared as I was of losing her because of what other people were saying, and because I was getting beat up and it was very obvious that it was her, I hate to say this, but boyfriend, I'm a girl, by the way, but it used to bug me so much. Because I admired her so much. And I didn't want to get beat up. And have people harass her about that. I wanted to be a superhero to her, like my superhero friend. And let me tell you something. This girl defended me strongly. She had a tough life. Remember, I told you, she had things happen to her, and I'm not talking about it. But I remember a few times throughout our relationship that she got in the face of some pretty tall, tough men. Thank you. I said I wasn't going to cry too much. I haven't really got too deep into it. The relationships part, I'm very grateful for what she did. And as bad as I wanted to defend myself and teach these guys a lesson for messing with me, I just didn't want to fight. I don't want to fight. I'm still going to hold fast to I want to just play and have a good time, I don't want all the drama. So now not only were people jealous of me because I was a cute boy growing up, a girl, very girly. Can we say that? I was very girly growing up. Guys couldn't handle that for some reason. You know, some of them. Some of them could, of course. But some of them couldn't. Their own insecurities, was it? Maybe. Maybe, if I'll be honest. I'm learning that people would be insecure. She like a lot of the other tough girls. That's something I liked in her too. You'll find out in my relationships, usually they were tough. Girls had to be tough. Let's face it, sometimes girls really have to be tough, right? You know? Thank goodness I'm still around. I had to become tough. I don't really like it sometimes. I don't want to be tough. I just want to be me. And I love guys, by the way, very much. So we talked on the phone a lot. We listened to a lot of music. Actually, she would play me songs over the phone. I would play her songs over the phone. She would ask me to sing to her. Take over my guitar sometimes to her house and sing, and I was insecure with that. And my playing wasn't like the guys that she loves so much, so I was feeling less about myself, right? What a horrible... I'm stuck in negative thinking, and I'm thinking I'm never going to amount to the kind of person that this girl is worthy of. You know, bottom line, that was the end story. I felt I'm never going to be. She is worthy of being treated like a princess, a queen. Not by me. For years, I'd go back to the places she used to live and places we used to hang out together. For years. And I reflect back on our time together and why did I walk away from this? Why did I keep messing things up? Why didn't I just stay with her? And it would have been the greatest relationship ever. Because I found out later on, let me just say this as nice as I can without hopefully upsetting anyone. I found out some things that I was surprised of later years. That she ended up with some guys that did things to her I would have never done, that's for sure. Maybe I would have, but I highly doubt it. If anything, she would have done it to me. She was worthy of the finest things in the world. That's the way I looked at her. And I'm just going to leave it like that. I was just disappointed to find out in the end that she still continued to have her own struggles. And can I just say, if you see this video, you're out there no matter what you're going through in life, no matter what changes that you've been through in your life, privately, would you reach out to me? Just to be friends, you know, catch up. I don't want anything from anybody, you know. I like guys. And you were a tough girl, and I was very attracted. So without making this too personal, we all go through our life struggles and things happen. And, I have some pretty amazing spiritual encounters. Let me tell you something. With this girl, I have a lot of stories. A lot of stories. Dirty Dancing was big. At the time, one of the times that we had developed or separated for a while, and then I came back into her life. Oh, let me just say that. I used to ride over to her first house. This is when we used to lay on her front lawn. There's nothing like laying on the front lawn with the person that you were falling in love with. And this was a very deep friendship. And we spent a lot of time kissing. Parents calling her in, and I had to leave. I wanted to stay all night with her forever. This was the one person I wanted to share every second of my life with. People change over a period of time, of course, and stuff, but back in the day, I'm just talking about back then. Yeah. I can go on and on and on about stuff like that. I'll never forget those times, never. So we spent a lot of time mainly kissing. For her mother, she sees us mainly kissing. Mainly kissing. And I guess that was okay, as long as we didn't do anything else, but sometimes we did, sometimes we didn't. Got my first apartment with her. You know, I don't know if I talked too much about that. I did get my first apartment with her. With her, I wanted to work more to get more money because I figured she deserved nice things. And to be honest with her, I was kind of old-fashioned. I didn't want her to work. So I remember even working with her brother at different jobs. And, you know, the truth of the matter is I wanted her to have a free life doing whatever she wanted to do, you know. But I always told her she really wanted to get a job, and I gotta admit, I was jealous at times that she did. Very jealous, because every guy always wanted her, even my friends. Everybody wanted this girl. I didn't like that. That was a lot of pressure. It looks like I'm gonna probably soon be running out of time. I started at relationship 1. Probably not going to be able to complete the rest of the relationship, so I'm going to wrap it up tomorrow by summarizing it. So just know this: you're not alone going through struggles in life. There's a lot of people that I believe that I can help in sharing my life story. My hope would be to go back through it again and share different moments at different times in hopes of helping you or helping me. Share me your life story. Tracilyn.com. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Get to know a little bit about me. I have free music online. Say hello on Facebook. Facebook.com/Tracilyn21. Email me at tracilyn21@gmail.com. You're in Middle Creek getting ready to leave. I'm sorry for crying. I'm not sorry for crying. I need to stop apologizing. I said I wasn't going to cry. It's good. I want to get this out of my heart. You know, with you. I hope I didn't say anything to offend anybody. Listen, I hope I didn't say anything to offend anybody. I'm not trying to hurt anybody. We're working on relationships, finishing up after careers. I have a list of things to do. I want to try to finish this up in 7 days. It's supposed to be a summary of my life. I wouldn't find it justified to do it in 1 hour. You know, like some people do 20 minutes, 15 minutes. I gotta take the time to do this right. My dream was to write a book. My dream was to spend the rest of my days sharing my life. My dream was to write songs. I'm confident that I have what it takes after studying psychology for about 3 years and going through a healing process in all the different religions, power, positive thinking, and energy. Going through all kinds of things in my life. Being an escort, working in the adult entertainment industry, being an entertainer, trying to meet people's expectations throughout my life, losing myself easily in everything around me, wanting things for the wrong reasons. I want to help you no matter where you are in yours to maximize your life journey. Or if you need a laugh, laugh. It's okay to laugh. Insult me if you want to. But if you feel like life isn't worth living and you want to die, there we go. It's good.